In today's quarterly report, we'll be taking a closer look at Carbiotix, who today published their report for the first quarter of 2022. With me on link to answer a few questions, I have Kristofer Cook, CEO. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Michael. It's a pleasure to be with you.
It's good to have you here back with us. We'll get started right away. Revenue for the quarter landed at 20,000 SEK, a decrease from last year's first quarter of 236,000, as well as a decrease from last quarter's 80,000. Earnings for the quarter landed at minus 2.6 million. How do you view these numbers, Kristofer?
Well, they were entirely in line with the expectations from my side. The revenues last year were in conjunction with development projects of the Linkut service with the Canadian partner, and that continued throughout 2021. And that partner is in the process of sort of doing a revamp. I think one thing which is consistent across all the partners is that these are newly started companies, and these companies go through a natural process of modification and pivoting, etc. So I think this is totally in line. It's important to point out that the Linkut service is and has been built up as a competitive advantage. Again, it's this low cost, reliable, and flexible gut health test, a business to business API white label based gut health test, which is actually the lowest cost per sample in the world today. And I'm very happy, actually. You know, we worked through all the wrinkles last year, and we have a really, really sharp service that we can offer. And I think proof of the pudding, so to speak, is the fact that we're getting a very good interest, at least 2 expressions of interest a week in the service. So the pipeline looks very promising.
I see. And while we're on the subject of Linkut, during the quarter, early in it, you announced a evaluation project with one of the 5 biggest laboratories in the world. You and Kajsa spoke about this last quarter, and it was highlighted in the report. Could you remind us what it was all about and how it has developed during the quarter?
Yeah, certainly. We're always in the process of looking for opportunities to improve these 3 key competitive advantages: low cost, flexibility, reliability. And we regarded the fact that we had to send samples overseas as a limiting factor of our service. So we wanted to explore whether there was an opportunity to work with a large lab that had laboratories not only in North America, but Europe as well as Asia. And so we reached out to this particular company who we had contact with earlier to explore whether we can offload some of our testing on them to see if we could bring down the cost without sacrificing the reliability and flexibility of the service. So this is a project that will be completed by the end of this year. And if it looks promising, we'll use them for a portion of our samples.
And are there any potential revenues from this evaluation project?
No, not at all. We came into this with a good faith from both sides. They're interested in increasing volumes, and we're interested in finding a partner who can provide the service at the same cost level as well. So this is a co-development project.
We'll continue on evaluations. Lund University started recruiting patients for a clinical diabetes type 2 study. How does Carbiotix fit into the context of diabetes?
Yeah, this is an exciting study for us. It's the first study where one of our modulator classes, medical foods, is going to be used in a study. In this particular case, we know that prebiotic fibers can have a positive impact on patients suffering from diabetes. And in this case, because we're targeting a medical food, we're looking at the management of type 2 diabetes, in this particular case, in patients who are on metformin. And there we're actually targeting 3 areas that we want to sort of examine. One is obviously the side effects, because side effects are well known, the GI side effects of metformin, if we can reduce those. Then obviously in terms of key endpoints or primary endpoints, we want to see if we can improve the efficacy or improve the condition of the patient by introducing in this case, 10 grams of our fiber, a medical food fiber, per day over a 4-month intervention period. And then lastly, it's important for us to start collecting safety data because we'll be needing that for multiple dossiers going forward. So this is our first study. It's an introductory study, and I think that it fits extremely well with our ambitions going forward. And the medical food industry is a large industry. It's a 15 billion euro market, and type 2 diabetes is certainly a condition where many individuals are suffering from type 2 diabetes. And we know that metformin as a drug is used by well over 100 million people today. So it sort of checks all the boxes, and we're really excited about this study and seeing what the results are.
Is there a timeline in regards to the study?
Yeah, it's going to be conducted essentially in the second half. So the recruitment process has started, and the study will start probably end of July, beginning of August, and continue until Christmas time. We want to certainly avoid maybe dietary changes over the summer months and during the Christmas vacation.
I see. I wanted to move on to your road to commercialization. Last quarter, you began work on the first production facility for Carbiaxos, as well as presenting a launch plan. How has that work developed during the quarter?
Very good. We came out with a lot of news in the past 40 days. I think 12 press releases. And one of those press releases was in connection with the completion of the site, with some additional piping and stuff that had to be installed, with a planned opening ceremony in June. And things look good there. We'll be starting up this month. And this is the key milestone for the company, because we're taking a technology from lab scale to full scale. And once we do that, then we have the necessary methodologies to essentially utilize this in sites that we build, as well as other sites out there. So this is a key milestone for the company with the completion. Regarding the launch, this is also something that we announced, and we're targeting the completion of GRAS by the end of October, and then the launch within the United States, because this is the initial target market for Carbiaxos nutraceutical product during the month of November.
Well, sales agreements have already been signed, one with Fiber High, giving them the right to purchase 100% of the produced Carbiaxos for 2022 and 2023. Tell us, Kristofer, how does this fit into your production plan?
I think from a customer acquisition standpoint, getting the first customer is always the most difficult thing, and in this case, we have a good partnership with Fiber High, and we'll be working together, entering into the U.S. market. And this is key. It becomes a key reference customer for us, sort of to add energy behind our sales efforts, especially given the fact that we have these 10 qualified leads that we're working on as well. In terms of production volumes, this is nothing that we specified exactly, and therefore the agreement is structured in the way it is, as a right of first refusal on amounts manufactured during 2022 and 2023 as well. And the purposes of that is simply to ensure that they have enough material to satisfy their launching needs in the U.S. market. So nothing more than that. If there are volumes that are not used by Fiber High, of course, we'll be offering these to other parties. And our ambition right now is definitely to accelerate both the sales process, but also find ways of expanding production capacity in the most cost-effective manner possible, in line with regulatory requirements and specific market needs as well.
I'll be looking forward to reading more about the launch. I have one final question, however, and it relates to the directed shares issue. In March, the board proposed this rights issue, and just last week it was announced that you're going through with it. This will grant you 20.1 million SEK with potential for more. I thought you could elaborate on how it all will work.
Yeah, I think the impetus behind this proposal was the fact that in the past there has been some criticism, given the fact that we ventured into direct rights issues, which were highly suitable at the time, given the fact that we were entering a difficult period with COVID. But I didn't want to work with the company, and again, my horizon is a bit longer maybe than some investors. Some investors have also communicated a time horizon that's quite equal to mine, even beyond mine. And in that time frame, I always wanted to say that I provided an offer which was interesting for existing shareholders to defend their share position, but even come into the company at a lower share value. In this particular case, we offered a 30% discount, which was, from my perspective, quite generous. But the purpose, again, was to ensure that there would be interest and to allow investors to get access to the company at a relatively lower share price, given the fact that I think I purchased shares quite recently for double this particular share price. And again, in this particular case, we're offering a technical option, again, with a 30% discount within 14 months that can bring in an additional 20 to 40 million Swedish crowns. So we think the offering is quite competitive and should be appealing to existing shareholders. So I'm quite happy, actually. Regardless of share price development in connection with the fact that we had a lot of information in the past 12 months, I think if there was share price movement, the delta would have favored investors given the discount, but I'm still quite happy with the offer that's made to existing shareholders, which is a promise that I made and I've kept as well.
I see. The intent was to get new shareholders or to increase the investments from existing ones?
Well, we always want to offer an appealing value proposition for existing shareholders, but broadening the shareholder base is always a good thing as well, because it increases stability in the share price. So obviously we're appealing to both groups of investors.
And you'll still be granted money from this issue. What will you do with it?
Yeah, in this particular case, because we have 80% guaranteed and with pre-subscriptions, our hope is that we fill the remaining 20%. I think it go well beyond that in terms of a majority of the shareholders defending their position. And the funds will be used for essentially our core activities. So scaling up of access, so getting product to market, and that includes obviously getting the regs fulfilled, carrying out studies, because that empirical data will be used also for the regulatory work, and then development work in terms of new prebiotics, and hygiene activities, if you want to call that, with quality systems, and then broadening our modulator base as well, and actualizing this competitive advantage with Linkit. So once we get on board the customers of Carbiaxos, we also want to integrate this Linkit service to provide a competitive advantage so their customers can demonstrate the efficacy of the product. So a lot is on the horizon right now. We've done a lot in terms of key milestones. I think we satisfied 85% of those key milestones for 2022 already. That means that we're going to be ratcheting up the ambition level going forward. And I've been waiting a long time for getting product to market. And once we do this, I think we have the right people in place and the right incentives and an interesting product, which is a very good betting ground to be successful. So I definitely look forward to the next 3 months, 12 months, and going forward 5 years and 10 years, because my horizon is quite long as well.
Kristofer, that was all my questions. I thank you for your time and wish both you and Carbiotix good luck.
Thank you, Michael. Pleasure.